Howdy y'all and welcome to Texas. I'm Zabar, glad you're with us tonight for race number 5 of the second MIS season. The mainstream racing series continues and tonight we will drive around the Cobra once or twice or 26 times. We will have a 18 minutes qualifying followed by a 50% race distance. The car performances are equal, full damage, dynamic weather that can sometimes be a bit of trouble in Austin. We have regular corner cutting, not the strict version. Manual race starts, of course. We see the assists that can be used here, anti-lock brakes, maximal and medium traction control, and the pit assists are off, so you have to watch the pace when coming into the pits as well as start manually after the tire change. This is COTA, Circuit of the Americas. The track difficulty is set to easy. Well, nope, I wouldn't say so. We see 20 turns, a 5.5 kilometers long track, and lap record from last year, Charlie Leclerc. And yeah, the track definitely is not easy. Definitely not easy. We see one long straight in the middle sector. The long DRS zone, you need to minimize your downforce, but right after the long straight we have a bunch of slow and medium pace turns in sector 1. The Cobra, a lot of left and right combinations, and all that. You need a lot of downforce, but you cannot go too much because you would be just too slow on the long straight. So we are still waiting a moment. We have heard from one driver who has problems checking into the lobby. I hope that we can sort all these things out. We should see, I say should, a full grid tonight. We had just once in this season a 19-man grid. All other races were full with 20 drivers, so this is really a good thing, and yeah, a sign for MIS to grow and to increase the quality. And here it is, the Cobra. I was mentioning already a few times, the big overview platform. Every position on the track you can watch from the head of the snake. Really the place to be for a Formula 1 fan. And yeah, the Circuit of the Americas was added to the race calendar in 2012. No race last year, sadly, but it will happen again. I am very sure about that in autumn of 2021. And here we are in the pit lane, and it is dry. It's rather sunny, fair weather here in Austin. And we have a 20-man grid, so everyone is in. We have the specialty of 20 full-time drivers. First one to go out was it a Ferrari? Was it a Ferrari? Yes, it was. It was Jack Rocknian, first one on an outlap. Ferrari with the number 69. If I got him right, I'm not sure, but if I got his message right, then he traveled to the USA today, and he is with us with his PlayStation from the United States. So this is more or less your your home Grand Prix, so to speak, for tonight. We have 20 drivers, and not just 20. All those 20 are our full-time drivers. So no reserve needed. 20 men are in. 20 race drivers are motivated to be in, and that is a big thing. And there was some change because the N2, the E, sitting in P12 right now, that's Nevis Ekic. He was our reserve driver. I say was because, right, I think it was yesterday he was promoted to a full-time driver after, sadly, Stephen Hodgetts, Scuba his name, decided that he cannot commit to a full-time driver. He opted to be downgraded as a reserve, but it's good that he's at least still with us as a reserve. He is one of the founding members of MIS, and I sincerely hope that we will see you again someday. So, little tradition of mine, the first one who goes out we will ride on board with for the first hot lap. These are the wishes and fast turns in Sector 1, where you need so much downforce, but cannot take too much because then you will be just too slow in the long straight that's coming up here. We've seen that Jack Rognian is taking the curbs very aggressively in these unrhythmic turns of Sector 1. That is the result of the fact that we race in regular corner cutting. And here we are now in Sector 3 with some slower or medium pace turns. Right here it is very easy to lose your car on acceleration. He did it very tidily. And then the long right-hander with three apex and 2 left-handers, and then we are finished already. Short DRS zone here on the start finish straight, and Smkska Jack Rognian has posted the first hard lap, 1:38.1. Yeah, let's see how long he might be in the lead with this 1:31.1. He's already giving space. The first one to beat him was Tom Walsh in the Racing Point. And yeah, Tom Walsh. This is an important topic right now. Tom Walsh in first, Stefan Williams in second. And what I am referring to is our overall lead, our overall standings after 4 races. The first championship picture, if you can say so, is already drawing itself up a little bit, and we see Kaan Tan, who is racing as, where is he? K Delay, still in the pits. He is the big leader right now, 4 races in. He finished every race on the podium, therefore earned himself 86 points. And in second is this man, Thomas Walsh, but already 40 points behind K Delay. So whatever will happen, even if Kaan Tan will just run into the barrier in the first lap, he definitely will stay the leader. But okay, we have still 16 races left after this, so still a lot of racing action to come by. And level on points with Tom Walsh is the man behind him, Stefan Williams. I am still learning his first name, Stefan Williams. They are separated by just 2/10, and in the standings they are separated by nothing, both level on 46 points. And we see one big problem. P8, Dominic Walsh, brother to Thomas Walsh, is already grey. He is already out. This could only mean that he has retired or that he has crashed. I didn't see any Alfa Romeo wreckage on the track. I'm not very sure what happened there, but he is in P8 and he is out. So he is maximally in P8. He is our reigning champion from the first season, but not doing very well here in season 2. I have to look up the overall standings real quick, just a moment. Dominic Walsh, the reigning champion, is sitting in P8 with an incredible amount of minus 66 points on this man, Kaan Tan, who's still warming up his tires. So let's just stay with him for the moment. Only Goziga, Zimper, Simon Gustafsson on a hot lap right now. Let's just stay with Kaan Tan for his first hot lap. First of approximately 2. I think for 3 the time will not be enough already by now. We've seen a lot of times coming in. One of them, a new pole setter, Mr. Simpson. Zemo has pushed the limits under the 130 mark. First one to do so with a 129.8. Zemo, one of our fastest drivers, who sadly, always... Oh no! Oh, Kaan Tan has spun on acceleration right when starting his hot lap, and now he needs to have a full lap without a front wing to return to his pits. Well, still enough time, okay, but definitely not the start he wanted to have for his quali. I wanted to say Simo viciously fast, but in the last races he had sadly a ton of internet connection issues, and he is our vice champion from season 1, and right now he's standing in a similar bad situation as the current champion is. Simo is just standing one position above Tom Walsh, so in 7th, and has let me have a look, 61 points of gap to Kaan Tan. 61 points, it's really a lot. But okay, it's nothing decided yet. Oh! Rockstar, Mikko Caruso, the next one who is traveling off track. So he does almost the same as Kaan Tan did, ruining his first hot lap, waiting a lot of time. He let pass by in the pits, and then on his first try, first of probably only 2, he ruined it, but probably no damage to him. Still, I expect him to return to the pits and then try again. Not sure if he and Kaan Tan will have enough time for 2 hot laps. Meanwhile, Zmixna Torpedo Jack has pushed for P2. And Grimo, wow, good lap time from him. Grimo, the second Alpha Tauri, Mark Goodman by his name, has pushed into P3. Good lap times. And just when I say it, it's already gone again because Jarne Vanderbilt is in P3. Jack Rocknan and Jarne Vanderbilt, both Ferrari drivers, about 2/10 the gap to those two guys. And yeah, one interesting thing is that Jarne Vanderbilt and Mirko Caruso, and actually Jack Rocknan too, they all came into MIS at some later stage of the season. Rockstar and Vanderbilt something around halfway, and Rocknan just for the last 3 or 4 races. But all of them have shown that they have a lot of pace, that they can be really quick, really fast. But for some reason, Vanderbilt is unable to show it now in Season 2. So to me, it looks like, or it looked like, Vanderbilt was the better, what was better in Season 1. And right now, for some reason, didn't get off to such a good start. He has 29 points thus far and is sitting in P6. 29 points means minus 57 already on Kaan Tan. There he is into the pits again. Is that enough time for one more shot? Who else we didn't mention yet? We see Ryan Price in P7, Blake Gary in 8th. Then Andrew Mond in P11. But I think his first hot lap shot was on mediums. So still some improvements left in his time, maybe. We see Leonard Cam, Stuart McDonald, our Scotsman, pushing for P6. We have in P13, there it is in the picture, Leonard Cam in P6 in the first McLaren. Then we see, who did we mention yet? We see D-Killer, that is Ricky Kuau in P13. He is running on a hot lap. Maybe let's have a look what he's doing here. He's already at the end of Sector 3. Just 2 left-handers left for him. And then... oh, he turns to the pits. Okay. In P14, David Lawson, who is he returning or is he leaving? I think he's leaving, yes. David Lawson, a bit early, already out on his final hot lap. P15, Mike Taylor, the only one who has posted a hot lap on mediums. P16, Mercy Man, that's Martin Ward. Guziga Zimper on an out lap. Sergio Vasquez is ruled on a hot lap, but that doesn't make sense. And Kaan Tan and Mirko Caruso on their each final shots. So for the moment, here is Caruso and Simo. The lap times depicted to me do not make sense right now because Simo is already in the last sector and 27 seconds cannot be true. Let's just look what he's doing here. Let's just have a look. The game tells us he has improved his lap time a little bit. Sadly, the depicted times are not correct, so it's gonna be a little bit bumpy. I cannot guide you through the fight for the pole in the end. Let's just see what is happening here. We see Mirko Caruso in last position. If he wants to make up some points on his real life body, Kaan Tan, he needs a good result here now in the last sector. One turn left for him, and then let's see where the time will stop. He pushes into nowhere because he just starts his hot lap. Well, yeah, F1 2020 is offline the best Formula 1 game I have ever seen in my life, but online, one big pile of crap. Still a good game, but yeah, for some reasons the game or Codemasters or the servers or whoever invents some new problems week in, week out. So yeah, it's never getting boring with the online version of F1 2020. And right now, sadly, as mentioned, I cannot depict it to you. I cannot run it down what's happening on the track. Now Rockstar is ruled to be on an outlap. That doesn't make sense at all. Kaan Tan, meanwhile, has pushed for P2. Kaan Tan, who was still in need of a hot lap. He is into the pits here with one minute left, so he is finished. Finished, by the way, is Stefan Williams too, and Ryan Price, and still Dominic Walsh. So we have still not seen a time from Caruso, the Rockstar, while okay, Kaan Tan is just driving through the pit lane. Okay, sure, why not? Yeah. Funny stuff going on. This has not been funny. There was a Alpha Tauri. Who was it? Was it Grimo? Or was it Andrew Mont? Ah, Andrew Mont it was. Andrew Mont. I think he just wanted to start his final hot lap and then for some reason spun behind the Williams of Kaan Tan. We saw the Alpha Tauri losing it on the track. I'm not sure what really happened to him, but yeah, he is finished now maximally in P13. I would like to have a look who is maybe still running on a hot lap. We still lack a good time from Sergio Vasquez, who is now running on over 3 minutes. That's totally off reality, of course. Rockstar Caruso now has pushed into P9. 9th position for Caruso. That's not good. I know that he can do better, but at least he is not starting from the back row. So the session timer is finished. I do not see any checkered flags behind the names. So yeah, we still see a few guys on outlaps when the session timer is finished, so that does totally not make sense. Yeah, I am not sure if this lobby will work. So yeah, as mentioned earlier, Codemasters will never get tired from delivering us strange moments in online worlds, but okay, why not? Why not? We now see a huge train of drivers here. All of them are axed, so the AI is driving their cars. Sergio Vasquez likewise, so let's just stay with this little AI train and hope that it all will be fine then in the race and that the game allows us to proceed to the race. 30 seconds remaining, then hopefully the CPU will finish the session. So now the time is officially over. Now we don't even see a AI train, we see AI wheel to wheel. Yeah, there is a malfunction. It's more or less official now, so I guess we will just take this quali result and then have to restart the lobby once again. There's some background chatter going on, how to proceed. I will keep you guys updated. Yeah, our host David Lawson has said it all. I will not run down the exact words he used, but the second sentence fits it all every week again. And so we will have a new lobby. David Lawson, the host, just announced this. So I will leave this session. I will remain the stream online and in hope that it doesn't crash. Could be that it's gonna crash soon. I hope not. I think this time I survived. I think I managed to leave the stream online. And yeah, I will rejoin the lobby with all the other drivers then for the race. And I will be silent for a moment and I'm back with you shortly. So, dear watchers, after a few minutes of confusion, I say think, we are now in the correct lobby. We opened a second lobby, but already when opening, the second lobby crashed again too. So this is more or less the third lobby for tonight. In case there is any Codemasters engineer watching us, what I sadly doubt, well, yes, I guess you know what to work on, and the tons of virtual racing leagues would be very glad if you could work on that already before we see the new game. And so in the background there's a lot of chatter going on up and down and sorting things out, and this could take another minute or two, but then we will head directly into the race. We have already seen the qualifying, so hopefully every driver will think and don't forget to load the setup into the game. They need to reload it after the new lobby, of course, and then hopefully in a minute or two we can start into the American Grand Prix. Until then, I will be silent for a moment and see you in a bit. The session timer has hit zeros and off we go again to Austin, Texas, into the desert, and for a few laps around the Cobra. And I sincerely hope this time without any problems or damages, at least damages to the lobby. The admins have decided to keep the race as dry, so I don't know what the original weather forecast was, but it has been decided that we will do it in a dry way, dry conditions, same weather as the qualifying. 15 seconds left. The drivers do have to reload the setup. I hope everyone thinks about that. The tire strategy is not as important right now as to load the correct setup. And here we are for our installation lap 0 of 28. Yeah, the tire strategy presented to us by the Amazon Web Services. Pirelli suggests maybe a one-stop strategy, red to yellow, but I don't think this will work. I have not the feeling this could work out. Red to white, soft to hard, maybe, but not red to yellow. And let's have a look who opted for which tire. Oh, have a look, just one man on mediums. Just the reigning champion Dominic Walsh will start on mediums. Everyone else opted to start on softs. And one big advantage for the top 10 runners, they do not have to start on their used set of softs from the quali. They will start on a fresh soft set. We see Peter Simpson running through his formation lab a little bit fast, at least it looks like. The last driver, Sergio Vasquez, is not even close to the last turn when Simo already turns to his starting box. So he will have to wait a bit. In the virtual worlds, it's not a problem. In the real life, you would wonder if maybe the engine might be a little heated then. But now I think everyone is in his starting box. And the race in Austin, 4 lights, 5 lights. And off we go. First penalty for Grimo for a jump start. And then Seymour had good start from the racing point. Tom Walsh, Stefan Williams needing to take a wide lane. On the front, everything was okay. There's one who lost it. And in the background, oh, we see a safety car. Early safety car after just 2 turns. And I don't know what exactly happened. No car in the grass or in the dirt. There is Simon Gustafsson, who's in last position. What else happened? The plus minus. -3 for Kaan Tan, the big loser of the start. And then, well, I'm not sure why we have a safety car. There is no big issue, no big crash. No one did DNF. No one even spun out. We see Gustafsson. Yes, he does have front wing damage. The left hand side is broken. Kaan Tan, no, sorry, Ricky Kuao, he looks okay on front wing. And Rumont lost 3 positions too. No damage to his car, I think. Likewise to Mercy Man ahead. Sergio Vasquez, he has damage. There's an end plate missing. So let's just see who will pit at the end of this lap. It is not Seymour and not Tom Walsh. And not Rocknayan. No Williams, who had a good start but then had to lift in turn 1. Jarne van de Brill in P6. Yeah, now as we are in lap 2, the table is confused as always. Let's stay with our leader for the moment. Oh, he's not our leader, of course. In the pits is Vasquez, Goziga, Zimpa, Mercy Man. All those getting themselves new tires, and Maybe new noses. New tires, of course, anyway. Stefan Williams is in AI mode, so he's taking a sip or something. And it was Vasquez, Martin Ward and Gustafsson who turned to the pits. Vasquez and Mercyman, that's Martin Ward, on fresh mediums. Guziga Simpa, Simon Gustafsson running on softs again. We see penalties coming in. Penalties, that's the next thing to watch. We see Grimo on a drive-through. We saw that as a jump start already very early. He will then be in last position. And Blake Gary now +5 for touching Grimo there behind the safety car. And he even picked up a penalty, a damage to his front wing. So Gary and Grimo, they both maybe will be coming into the pits right now. One of them for a stop, the other for a drive-through. And it looks like the safety car is not in this lap. Didn't see the message from race control yet. Lights flashing, so another lap of safety car, another lap. Bernd Mailänder will lead the field. And it looks like Gary is into the pits. Yes, he is. Gary is. Grimo is not. I think, I'm not sure. Maybe you are not allowed to serve a drive-through penalty in the pit lane during a safety car phase. We see another penalty coming in. Navis Ikic +5 seconds for tagging David Lawson. Five seconds penalty on the safety car is not a big problem. Blake Gary would have been in last position anyway, and now hustles behind the field, but he will catch them easily. Let's stay with him for a moment until he has caught up to the rear of Martin Ward. Yeah, P19, Mercyman, that's Martin Ward. P18, Guziga Simpa, Simon Gustafsson, his name. And I'm searching. P3, Zemixna, the Torpedo Jack Rockney, and those three guys were in one virtual chat room with me this week. 2 days ago on Monday evening, we have some regular driver interviews going on in this season, and yeah, it was a very interesting conversation, a nice chat among racing fans, I would like to call it. And next week, as we still have a bit of time, I look it up real quick. Next week I will welcome then Mike Taylor, Thomas Walsh and Peter Simpson for the next MRS drivers interviews. The date is not finalized, it's not set, but probably Monday or Tuesday evening, I would like to say. If you want to be reminded of all ongoing action about MRS, just subscribe to my channel and you will be noticed for our next event and next live stream. And now, yes, there is the restart. There is finally green condition and racing action going on here around the Cobra. Simo still in front after the restart, but couldn't shake off Tom Walsh. Tom Walsh looks very close here. Dirty air effect from the Renault ahead. Simo looks like he can go through the fast turns a little bit more smoothly. And in the background? What's happening? Actually, no big action going on. No attacks or overtakes. Let's browse through them and let's see if or what might go on here on the long straight. Just one big train of drivers. We will have 1.5 laps remaining. Maybe there's an attack, wheel-to-wheel attack from Gustafsson and Martin Ward, both against Sergio Vasquez. And they are through. Oh, interesting. Have a look. Blake Gary already on P17. Blake Gary, who was last when we restarted. And Gary just jumped ahead of 3 drivers. Mercyman and Sergio Vasquez definitely have the disadvantage of medium tires. They will run very long on them, I think. But for the moment, they have a disadvantage. Same goes to Dom Walsh in P10. Ooh, Vasquez almost threw his car away here on acceleration. Grimo now serving his drive-through penalty. No, was it? No, it was not. Have a look. It was not. He got himself fresh softs. I know, he still has a +5. Okay, he already served his penalty, only a +5 left. Okay. So no big problems for Grimo, because if you don't serve your drive-through within 3 laps, you get disqualified from the game. So let's have a look. Where is action going on? We see some action here. No, in front it is. Williams in the grasp or close of Rocknan. DRS will be activated then at the beginning of next lap. Simpson in the lead was successful in running away from Tom Walsh. He is out of Walsh's... No, other way around. Tom Walsh is out of the DRS window of Zemo, so it's right. And behind him there are a lot of drivers now chasing him. Zemixner, Stefan Williams, Kaan Tan, those 3 guys will be able to open their rear wing and eventually sometime later attack Tom Walsh. Then we see a gap of 1.6 seconds from Van de Bril on Kaan Tan and Mike Taylor following Van de Bril. Maybe Caruso, the rockstar, who can push inside the 1 second gap. It's right on the edge right now. Oh, Kaan Tan, a little bit of a mistake, went through the grass there a little bit, but that didn't seem like it costed him a lot of time. And now, Haas is split from Williams. Zemixner in the DRS second likewise. So right now, everyone just came closer to each other. But in the end, they will sooner or later be able to attack Tom Walsh. So there is a little bit of a bug. I never know if it is a bug or if it's some mod or something. I know there are no PlayStation mods, but I've seen this a few times for drivers that the gearbox is not depicted. It's either a bug or the driver doesn't want to show that to other drivers. And now Rocknan has just barely dropped out of the DRS window, so he's not able to open his red rear wing, and that will give Stefan Williams sooner or later the chance for an attack if he can stay close enough in the fast turns here. And now we are right at the DRS detection. No, Rocknan is not inside the 1 second window, but there's a surprise attack from Kaan Tan on Williams. Williams can defend it for the moment. Both will be DRS equipped. There you see Haas and Williams. Both is split. And for the moment, Kaan Tan has pushed through against Williams. The counter! And oh, attack between those two guys. Both stay alive, but there definitely was contact. Williams defending himself. Was a good counter attack, you got to admit. Late on the break, good counter from Williams. Tan just didn't want to accept it, maybe. Oh, now Kaan Tan has run wide. That will bring in Jarne Vanderbrill into the conversation. Jack Rocknan is happy because the fight between Williams and Tan has given him a little bit of breathing space. And now this will be the new fighting group. A maybe 4-man fight. The leader is a Ferrari, the last one is a Ferrari, at least last one in this group. And this is more or less the indirect fight for a podium. We see Ferrari of Rocknan in P3, so if Vanderbrill can stay inside the DRS window, doesn't look like right now. Yes, it is, just barely, but it is, but he is. So everyone is in the DRS window of the podium man Rocknan. DRS should be opened. Yes, it is. What's going on behind? No attack behind. Oh, yellow in the S's. That was Vasquez, but no big problem. And this is Williams in the rear of Rocknan again. Rocknan is struggling, Rocknan is pushing, he's giving it his everything, but he's doing hard to hold his Ferrari competitively on the track. Williams very aggressively taking the curbs. We are on regular corner cutting penalties, but you can pick up 30 seconds penalties, and Williams already has one. Now the attack, maybe. Turn 1 allows multi-planes. Wow, great cutback inside. Great maneuver from Stefan Williams. I always keep struggling with his first name, but the maneuver was really great. He didn't stand a chance on the outside, so he took another possible lane through the turn. But now he is the chased one. Now Rocknan is allowed to open up his rear wing. Kaan Tan, a little bit of a lag for him. Vanderbrill not able to follow Kaan Tan, and Tan should be the DRS equipped too. Yes, Williams is split and he watches us. He brings us the counter attack from Rocknan against Williams, and this worked rather easily. But on this long straight, it's just almost impossible to defend. Just remember the first race here in Austin. Hamilton against Vettel there. And Williams is back in P3. Williams has pushed back into P3 with Rocknan struggling on acceleration in the turns. We have seen this brought to us from the shoulder of Kaan Tan. He's really lagging. Doesn't look like too much fun. I hope that for him at home everything is alright. And now let's see what's gonna happen here. Can Stefan Williams pull ahead just enough to stay out of the next attack from Rocknan on the long straight? 7/10 the gap. 7/10 is a little bit much. 6 now. And K delay just behind by 5/10. So this could be very interesting very soon. I think Rognan will be a little bit too far away for an attack, but we know Rognan. We know why he is called Torpedo Jack. Late lunges are his specialty, but not now. Not now. From behind, no attack likewise. We see this from the vision of Jarne Vandebrill again. Vandebrill, who dropped back a little, now is back into the action. And ahead, Stefan Williams is a little bit closing up on Thomas Walsh, so maybe this will turn out into a fight too. And here is the next attack. Kaan Tan pushing ahead of Torpedo Jack Rognan. No, he doesn't. Oh, not yet, maybe. And Rognan into the pits. Rognan into the pits. First one of our top drivers to get himself fresh tires. Let's stay with him for a moment. The reds off. And new reds on. Okay. That is interesting. I did not expect that. Oh. Well, doesn't make sense to me right now, I admit. Let's just stay with him on this one lap and see where he will be positioned after this lap, when the other drivers possibly / likely put in their pit stops. I am a bit wondering about his strategy, because as we've seen an early safety car phase and every driver being able to conserve the tires a little bit longer, I was expected that everyone would go through on a one-stop strategy. Blake Gary, not a competitor here for Torpedo Jack, and yeah, I was expecting every driver to put in a one-stop and go to mediums or maybe even hards here on this first stop. But if Rognan has opted for red tires again, that means he needs to stop again. You all know the rule. You have to use two different set of slick compound in a dry race. And Tom Walsh and Kaan Tan now in the pits, so they react on this first stop of Rognan. Ricky Kuao into the pits too. Tom Walsh on mediums, Kaan Tan mediums, and Rognan should be in front of them. Yes, he is. The undercut worked. The undercut plus the fact that he had fresh soft, so the fastest possible tire on his car, and that gave him the push ahead of Thomas Walsh and Kaan Tan likewise. And he is already chasing Ryan Price, so you can visually see the advantage of a fresh soft tire going around Price. See here on the inside. He needed to let him pass. I expected so. This was an illegal overtake. He needed to let Ryan Price pass again, but he will easily catch him now in the DRS zone here. Left or right, left or right. Where we go, where we go. Wasn't that easily, but good enough to overtake. We've seen a Williams who has spun in a sector 1, yellow in sector 1. This was Blake Gary, who is in P19 now. And now Simo is in the pit. Simo, our leader. Let's stay with him for a moment. Softs off and yellow tires on. Yellow tires look the best, if you ask me, on a Renault car. So I suppose he will try to go through on this set. If you can do 12 laps on softs, you can do 16 on mediums. He is in P3. Maybe a little bit of pressure behind now from Dominic Walsh. There it is. Tom Walsh, the reigning champion, who is don't want to be aggressive on you, but who is not a factor in this season yet. I hope you understand how I mean. He will probably try to make it 4 or 5 laps longer on this medium set and then have himself fresh softs for the end. Blake Gary, meanwhile, has retired in the pits almost halfway through the race for our first DNF. That is sad for him. Fair maneuver to retire in the pits. This was a little bit of a discussion during the week, but he did it in the right way. Sadly of course. And now our leader is in the pits, Stefan Williams, right on the midway mark, the halftime through the race. And I see yellow tires. Yes, it is. Red to yellow for the Haas driver number 1. And he is out on the track on P5. Yes, he will stay ahead of Jarne Mandebrüll. Yellow in sector 3. Already vanished. Stefan Williams in P5. But Tom Walsh still ahead, who will need to stop. So he is virtually in P4. But still, he has dropped off the podium due to the fact that Jack Rognian is just faster on his set of softs. But we know that Sminksa, Jack Rognian, will have to stop again. He will close up to Seymour. Maybe even get into the DS window of Seymour. But then he will stop again. Brother duel here. Tom Walsh pushing ahead of Tom Walsh. Tom Walsh, reigning champion. His brother Tom Walsh finished 3rd in our last year overall standings, so strong racing family. Stefan Williams has picked up the next +3 seconds, so as we have a bit of time, let's have a look at the penalty situation here for the moment. We see 2 +5s for Ricky Coao and Nevis Ekic, and a few +3s, 1 for Andrew Mond and 2 for Stefan Williams. Well, a +3 can happen, but if it's twice a +3 with 6 seconds now, this will be a problem. Because you can see no one very far away, no one around him is penalized. So even though Dom Walsh needs to stop again, even though Jack Rognian needs to stop again, Williams will then still drop off the podium just because of his penalties. Jack Rognian, by the way, just posted the new fastest lap of the race. Ironically, he's dropping time to Seymour. I don't know how that shall work, but he has the fastest lap in his hands, and still is Seymour crawling away from him. And now Williams is right behind Dominic Walsh, whose pit stop window should open, I think, at the end of next lap or so. Ooh, late attack from Williams. Late attack. But Dom Walsh can pull ahead again, at least for the moment. This will not hold up very long. Attack into turn 1. The next acceleration duel. Walsh on the better lane for turn 2. Or wheel to wheel into the fast turns. And in the end, Dom Walsh had to lift and give a go for Williams. Virtual safety car. Something has happened. I saw some message of problems for Guziga Zimper. I am not sure if he caused the troubles. Lawson Lawson, deep trouble. 5 seconds penalty plus another for speeding on the VSC. Lawson is big penalized here with this VSC. Let's stay with this group here for the moment. I would like to think that Dom Walsh now will turn into the pits for his final set of final soft tires. Yeah, the next one, Goziga Zimpa, drive-through penalty for speeding under VSC. Let's have a look about the penalties again. Drive-throughs for Lawson and Goziga Zimpa, and just how I called it, Dom Walsh into the pits. Likewise for Jack Rocknian. Let's stay with him for a moment and let's see where he will get out on track again. Now on his final medium tire. I think it was a mistake for him to run on softs again. He will easily be able to finish the race on this set. And he is in P6. So this is his final position. Whatever he wants to gain, he needs to make it up on the track. Final pit stop by Rockstar and Mike Taylor likewise. So what's going on with Mikko Caruso? Very silent race from him thus far. Let's have a quick look about him as he is leaving the pits on his final set of mediums. I think that was his second stop. Yes, second stop. That explains why he is ranked back so far behind. Caruso, sadly, no factor here tonight. Likewise is Dominic Walsh, but he would at least make 2 points for his P9. Let's have a look through the field real quick as we have a moment. We see Mark Goodman in last position. Fresh mediums. Vasquez maybe will have to stop again. So Grimo will in the end not be last. There's Sergio Vasquez in the second McLaren from Peru. Mikko Caruso in 17th. 16 is Martin Watt. Very silent race, but he needs to stop again. Speaking about a pit stop, that is... Oh no, he's not stopping, he's serving his penalty. Simon Gustafsson, one of the interviewers from earlier this week. Then we see David Lawson in 14th. He needs to serve a penalty too very soon. Both the Red Bulls, no issue here tonight, no weapon here. Mike Taylor in 13, a little bit disappointing too. He had some good results lately, but right now it does not look like he could make points for tonight. P12 and to the E, it's Nevis Ekic, the one I spoke about in the qualifying, who recently got promoted into a full-time driver spot in the Alfa Romeo, having a little bit of lock tires here. 2 consecutive turns. If he wants to finish on this set, he should avoid that. Then we see Andrew Mond in P11. Unlucky position for him. First one who would not earn a point, so he will hope that there's happening any kind of chaos or havoc ahead of him. P10, the last point, would be granted to Ricky Kuau here at the moment, the second Renault. Then Ryan Price, the second Mercedes, who is now running as the first Mercedes. in 9th position. In 8th, then our reigning champion Dominic Walsh on fresh softs. He will try to make up a little bit of ground. He is 1.5 seconds away from Leonard Cam. That could be possible. That's actually very likely that he can overtake him. Yellow in sector 1 there. That was Caruso. Caruso has spun somewhere on the exit of turn 1 and is therefore now ranked back to P16. Yeah, Dominic Walsh will very likely be able to overtake or at least attack Leonard Cam very soon. P7, our Scotsman. Then in P6, Kaan Tan. Not such a big factor tonight too, so it looks like Austin might not be his favorite track. He might be able to fight and tangle up with Jack Rocknian ahead. He's just on the edge of the 1 second DRS window. But it looks like no podium for him. Race number 5, and this would be the first race without a podium for him in this season. The whole rest of the league will have a little bit of sigh of relief that he will not increase his big gap in the overall standings. In P2 is Tom Walsh, at least the overall standings. And in our standings here in the race too. So Tom Walsh would make up 10 points right now. In P5, Torpedo Jack Rocknan, who I think made a mistake on his tire strategy. We need to talk later if that was a scheduled second stop or if he just by accident changed the tire strategy. But still, even though he's running in P5, so he has 10 seconds of gap to his teammate, but still P5 is a pretty good stop for a semi-perfectly working tire strategy. In P4, then Jarle van de Brill, finally a good result. That is what he needed. I mentioned it already earlier. He had a very good first season, but now the start of season 2 wasn't in his total favor. He is right now chasing Stefan Williams. He's just outside the DRS window, but we know that Williams does have a handful of penalty seconds on his account. So Van de Brill just needs to stay where he is, not pick up a penalty in the last 7.5 laps, and then he will step onto the podium. Stefan Williams, there it is. The rear wing camera depicted now from him. He has a good race. Yes, I would say a good race. Some great maneuvers from him earlier, but the big problem, let's have a short look about it, is his plus 6 seconds. So yeah, luckily Rocknan is behind by 10 seconds, so he will not drop behind Rocknan, but he will drop behind Van de Brill if Van de Brill doesn't commit a big mistake. So that will push him off the podium then in the end. Still a good race for him again. So you can really see Williams on the uprise on the last weeks, on the last month. So he had a strong finish of season 1 and is just in a pretty good form and shape here at the beginning of season 2. Already had multiple podiums already. This one, would just be the next if there weren't all these penalty seconds. He will still be in overall P3 in our classification, but then he will lose 6 points on this man, Thomas Walsh. Silent but good race for him. Mistake free, I would like to say. Plus 3 seconds of penalty, okay, that can happen. If the driver behind you has a +6. Everything's okay for you. But he was unable to compete with this man, the Renault of Peter Simpson. I have my fingers crossed, really, I mean it. I have my fingers crossed that he can bring it home today. He is such a good driver, such a strong and stellar pace. If he can keep it together, if he can stay error-free, and if his internet connection can hold up for 5.5 laps more. Sergio Vasquez meanwhile has retired. We see the orange McLaren dot standing there in turn 19 where he has probably crashed. So second DNF, just the second. We are through the race by 3/4 and we have just 2 DNFs, and that speaks for the rising quality of the MRS, the Mainstream Racing Series. So a few laps with limited racing action, but there are still a few things that need to be decided, and one of that is the battle for third. In the end, Van de Bryl will step onto the podium, that's clear and obvious, because of the 6 seconds penalty of Williams. But I know Van de Bryl, I know him, and he will want to settle this duel on the track and not being decided by penalties. And meanwhile, Kaan Tan, let's jump back a little. Kaan Tan needed to submit to Dominic Walsh. Kaan Tan only in P7. Everyone else will sigh of relief a little bit more than they already did. Kaan Tan has not been a factor here tonight and even dropped 1 position further behind Dominic Walsh, the reigning champion, on his fresh soft tires. Was able to push ahead. The question is if he can stay ahead, because to some time the softs will start to degrade. But Tan's mediums are already 11 laps old too, so maybe the effect will just equalize each other. Leonard Cam on P9, fresh softs too, pushed ahead of Andrew Mont. Mont, who is not in this stupid and unlucky P11 anymore. He was able to get himself into the top 10 and be rewarded with a point. Then in the end, let's have a look what's happening here. But you can see Dom Walsh is too far away. No chance for an attack for Kaan Tan. Getting a little bit closer there with locking up his tire, but no chance for an attack. And I suppose, as long as Walsh doesn't commit a mistake, this will just stay this way for the next 3.5 laps until the end of the race. Where else is action going on? We see Mike Taylor in the DRS window of Nevis Ikic. They are battling for no man's land, battling for P11, battle for 0 points. Oh, and meanwhile Caruso has turned last. Oh, he needed to have another pit stop. He's now on fresh softs. Ooh, not a good race for him today. Not a good race. Ooh, almost a late attack from Taylor. I already saw the end plate right in front of our nose to be flying off there, but he was able to brake hard enough to stay out of the Alfa Romeo rear. So let's stay with Taylor. One more DRS zone, one more long straight. Does not look like he could attack Ikic. He is very close in the end. Oh, late lunge! Late lunge! Ooh, that definitely was a little bit of contact on the tires. But Ikic... Ikic is under pressure here. Isn't it great? A battle for P11. And right now, as we get closer to the end of the race, let's get this information in. The penalties second, search for your favorite driver and have a look where he is likely to end in the end. Maybe now the attack. Ooh, late break from Taylor. Can he get around the turn? No, he can't. He was braking a little bit too late. Ikic left the door open and let Taylor just run into no man's land. But it looks like Taylor is faster than Ikic. Penalty wise, Taylor would be up-ranked over Ikic in the end anyway. He has 2 seconds less penalty seconds than Ikic. So inside the top 10 there's actually, the top 9, just 2 penalties, just Taylor, Walsh and Williams. And here's the attack again, Oh, this is the next warning, this will be the next warning against Taylor. But no illegal overtake, it seems. Woohoo! That was hard. But he just wanted to try to push ahead. He wanted to show Ikic that he could be faster, that he could finish in front of him. But penalties might change that again in the end. And as we get close to the last lap, we have a look at our leaders. Is there any action going on the way to the front? Kaan Tan still inside the DRS window of Dom Walsh, but due to tire advantage, I suppose, Dominic Walsh is always able to pull ahead just barely enough so that Tan cannot attack him. Let's have a look what's gonna happen here. Now Tan looks a lot closer and he tagged him. I think he tagged him. Oh, I think he pushed Walsh and therefore made Dominic Walsh spin. Dominic Walsh. Oh yeah, have a look. Kaan Tan is fair. Kaan Tan is waiting. Fair maneuver from Kaan Tan, K Delay, who pushed Dominic Walsh into a spin, but then waited and let him get his position back. That is very, very fair. Applause from me to Kaan Tan. Cannot state it big enough. And almost made Ryan Price attack him in the end, but that is that we will have to have an eye on what Ryan Price will do. If Price might try to attack Kaan Tan in the end, then we are getting closer to the checkered flag. This is Peter Simpson. We couldn't see him a lot. I couldn't depict him very often because his race was just so silent, and I always try to stay with the racing action. Speaking about racing action, the last lap, the last chance for Jan van der Bril to settle this fight on the track. He will be on the podium in the end anyway, but can he make it on the track too? Last attack, and he's ahead of Stefan Williams in his last chance. He took it, and Kaan Tan, Ryan Price, I mentioned it earlier, Kaan Tan waiting for Dominic Walsh to get his position back, and now here's the final attack, the final long straight. Ryan Price against Kaan Tan, and maybe those two against Dominic Walsh. Ooh, I was silent, but the three boys raced fair with each other. No last lap heroics, no last lap desperation of no one of them. Ryan Price was rather calm likewise. And meanwhile, I am very sorry, but in the meantime, I didn't catch Simo win the race. Congratulations. Now a little bit delayed from me to Peter Simpson for winning the US Grand Prix just ahead of Thomas Walsh. And now Jarne van der Bril, who deserved to step on the podium for beating Stefan Williams with half a lap remaining. 4th and 12 good points on the account of Stefan Williams. Good race again for him. Then Jack Rocknian just 4/10 behind Williams in the end. Just 4/10. Incredible. Good race for him, even though he had, in my opinion, the wrong strategy. Then Dominic Walsh with a very exciting and good 8 points on his account. Kaan Tan, not a good race, but I mentioned it again. Very, very fair driving from him in the end. Ryan Price almost got that Kaan Tan then. P9, 2 points for Leonard Cam, and the 10th position, the final point on the account of Andrew Mont. And now Mark Goodman, the last driver who crossed the checkered flag. So the race event now is officially over. Driver of the day, the game says it's Dominic Walsh. I have been given the honor to announce my own driver of the day, what will grant 1 extra additional point to the driver. I will have to have a look at the race again. Right now, for the moment, we celebrate the drivers on the podium. Simo on his virtual champagne with some Renault engineer that is not Cyril Abitibul. That's someone else. Anyway, congratulations to those 3 drivers, and thank you all our audience for being patient with us in this, technically not that good race event. Here's the final result after penalties. Peter Simpson has won it in front of Thomas Walsh and Jarne van der Bril. In 4th, Stefan Williams. 5th, Jack Rocknian. 6th, Dominic Walsh. 7, Kaan Tan. 8 is Ryan Price. 9, Leonard Cam. That's Stuart McDonald. P10, Andrew Mont. 11th, Mike Taylor. P12 for Nevis Ekic. P13, Ricky Kuau. P14, Mark Goodman. P15, Golsiga Simpa. Simon Gustafsson. P16, our host David Lawson. P17, Martin Ward. P18, Nico Caruso. And Sergio Vasquez and Blake Gary did not finish. And with these final pictures from the Cobra, we say goodbye to Austin. Maybe / probably the last time on this game where I stream a race from Texas. And all I can say is thank you guys for being with me here tonight. It was a pleasure to bring this great race home into your living room. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did. The mainstream racing series will return on next week's Wednesday, March 31. The race event starts at 7:30 p.m. of UK time. The stream goes online always 5 to 10 minutes earlier. If you want to be noticed when we go online, just hit the subscribe button. Yeah, thanks for being with me, and have a nice evening. Stay safe in these times and keep racing.